everybody. Welcome back to the Friday Front Bar on a Thursday for the last time this year, thanks to the brewery Fresh Carlton Draft here at the All Nations Hotel. You know him, Sam Pang. You probably know him, but it's the first time he's been here at the Front Bar. Dave Hughes, thanks for coming along and lovely to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Do you know where Mick is?
He's in Germany, I believe, so yeah, we may never see him again, I wouldn't think. What do you reckon?
How else are you going to celebrate a big win over the GWS? I understand that. Before we get to your bona fides, Hughes, it's great that you're here, and you know I love you, but I just got to say, out front, you weren't our first choice.
Oh, God.
Dawn Fraser said no. But anyway, it's great to be here. What about your football credentials, mate?
Well, 1991 Warrnambool District League Team of the Year, Ruck Rover. So, yep.
Wow.
I was one of the favourites to win the league best and fairest that year and got one vote. So, and my dad came with me to the best and fairest night, and we sat on the table next to the umpires. And as the night went on, Dad got progressively drunker and he started abusing the umpires' table. It was really embarrassing.
I've never known a bloke as keen to talk up his football. I say, I've known you for a long time. I've never known a bloke as keen to talk up his football.
That was on the rundown. You said you wanted to hear about it.
Hey, speaking of what we've been doing in recent times, you've become... Are you officially now the Gold Coast Suns' #1 ticket holder? Is this 2 weeks in a row that you've seen them play live?
I saw Gold Coast on the weekend take on North Melbourne, and the week before that I saw them take on our team, Carlton.
Yeah.
That's successive Gold Coast games, something Gary Ablett hasn't even done this year, by the way. So I was up there at Metricon Stadium.
Was it a party atmosphere? What's going on up there?
Hizzy, I'm not kidding you. It was. I know they haven't had a great year, but I picked a good one to go to. That was a magnificent day, as always. They had a big win, and I tell you what, you know, just to have someone back. As soon as he ran out, as soon as this man ran out onto the ground, you knew that Gold Coast were going to win. I'm talking about Majak Daw. I'm a Majak Daw fan, but he didn't have a good one. I tell you what, when you get subbed off before you run through the banner, it's a bad sign. I'm talking. What about get the story?
He kicked 6 in the reserves though, Majak. What is the issue there?
The gap between. I think we've got to just establish a fact here that. The gap between the footy that's being played and a lot of the footballers playing at VFL level and what's required at AFL level is the gap's actually widening as every year goes by, I think. So,
well, that's not good.
I don't want to rain on Majak's parade.
Where are all those other VFL players watching?
I think most of them probably agree with
I had a wonderful day up there, but the story was Gary Ablett's return. It was amazing. It was sensational to just watch him play and the difference that he made to that team.
You could tell the further the game wore on, the more comfortable he became, the more dominant.
Well, he kicked 3 goals and had over 30 possessions, so...
He was fantastic.
And yet, still not as good as his dad. Don't you think that's amazing?
Not as exciting. Not as exciting.
All right, not as exciting.
Yeah, that is a great drip tray conversation to have nowadays. I mean, whether the gap's been closing for a very long time. Who knows by the time he finishes, he might actually go past
The gap's been closing. Yeah, well, seeing you stop playing...
Was that the biggest individual impact that a player had on his team across the weekend? Because I put to you that Caleb Daniels had a bigger impact for his team than Gary Ablett did for the Gold Coast.
The little bloke from the Bulldogs.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Oh, unbelievable. He's the shordest guy in the AFL.
Same height as Brent Harvey, but about 14 kilos.
Yeah, but he's also a lot younger than Brent Harvey. Let's have a look at him running out. When we saw him get subbed into the game, you thought, no way. He absolutely starved.
Isn't that a great thing about our game, seriously, that Caleb Daniel can, the man that size, can still play the game of AFL. If you're basketball, you've got to be a genetic freak. Rugby league, you've got to be 100 kilos. And, of course, tennis player, you've got to be a tool. So, for him to actually make an impact in our great game.
When he came on, Carlton were dominating, and then he just took over.
Tell you what, I think he may not be the last we see of his size at the Western Bulldogs. It's a production line out there. If you have a look at their VFL team, they are all just Caleb Daniel, just waiting to just new mosquito fleet.
But that actually was the Little League. They cut to that during the second quarter. That's how boring the game was. That's true.
Why they cut to it twice?
And even being a fan of one of the teams playing, I was happy to see that rather than watch what was going on. It was the worst game ever.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a game.
Terrible.
No, it wasn't much of a game.
Shocking.
But one of the other positives was the fact that we saw the return of the helmet. Now, I think we've got to raise our glass and say to Caleb Daniels,
well, it's great to see it back, because if you think about Rod Ashman,
Legend.
Gary Wilson
Legend.
made his own.
Yeah.
But the one thing you should probably remember is before Caleb Daniel, there was Phil Narkle.
Oh, the greatest.
This is the greatest helmet in the history of football. Have a look at it, Hughesy, in club colours.
It's beautiful.
This is, of course, playing for St Kilda. You know, there were times during Narkle's career where he wasn't playing, but they picked his helmet. But that is still the greatest. And
What's it made of, though? It's three different coloured pillows strapped to his head.
It's a very large helmet.
Great to see the return of the helmet.
Where is that helmet nowadays? Do they not know where that helmet is?
No, I haven't kept in touch with it.
The big talking point this week has been the Jay Schultz, Teddy Richards, sling tackle. Was it or not? I mean, to the naked eye, it doesn't look too different to the one that Bryce Gibbs laid.
It looks exactly the same.
Except Bryce didn't put his hand up and call for the trainers.
Yeah.
That seems to be the only difference.
And Robbie Gray had the ball as well. The ball's gone.
So you're not... I can judging by what you're saying...
I was campaigning on Twitter as soon as that happened that he has to go. Because the Robbie Gray one is exactly the same, and the Port Adelaide players soaked up big time.
If you agree that Gibbs had to go, right, because the tackle drove the bloke's head into the ground and an injury was caused as a result of it, whether there's a second move or not is irrelevant. The tackle led to a bloke's head hitting the ground and the bloke being knocked out.
We need a match review panel for the match review panel. I reckon they would get 10 weeks. They'd get 10 weeks.
Who's on the match review panel?
I don't know who was there the other night, but it's Nathan Burke, Luke Ball, Brad Saul and Michael Christian.
Well, Nathan Burke wore a helmet, so he should be worried.
I'd rather have the judges from The Voice being in charge. And I'd have David Rhys-Jones as my biomechanics expert, or whatever it is. You know, you
pretty feisty, those judges on The Voice the other night. Did you see that?
Oh, I love it.
Delta was getting stuck in a Jessie J. It was all happening.
Stuff.
Yeah, it was good. Jessie J said to the Pommy guy, go to the Madden Brothers.
Really?
She said, go to the Madden Brothers.
She's got to,
now I'm
check her passport.
now I'm officially sorry I brought it up. You explaining just before, double actions, head high, low impact, that's the problem. I think really you go back to old school. If you punch a bloke, you get suspended. If you headbutt a bloke, if you kick a bloke, if you spit... You remember there was about five
But also,
rules?
you can punch a guy as hard as you like in the stomach, can't you?
Apparently.
You can put your fist through someone's stomach and bring it out the other side and you'd only get a fine.
We're all a bit confused, but Bryce Gibbs was confused.
We're angry,
he was confused.
So his tweet is spot on. Fair enough, Bryce. Absolutely. He doesn't get on Twitter very often.
No, he doesn't.
No,
He just promotes his T-shirt company.
But, you know, he said I'm confused. He tweeted I'm confused, which he's done twice before.
When was that?
Well, the other one was when Carlton recruited Blaine Bocker. And the other one wasn't a tweet. He just texted back because I think Josh Bootsma had sent him a text. Mate, I'm confused. Is Bryce Gibbs a stock standard text or tweet?
Right.
But it was fair enough too. If Bryce gets suspended, why wouldn't he be confused?
It was crazy. And Sam Calhoun apparently plays for Port Adelaide. What's going on?
I didn't know who he was.
Say, two actions, pal. Two actions, pal. It's two action, one action rubbish. And then Zach too, which I love. The Irish feisty man's got back, kidding yourself, pal. And that's aggressive from Zach. That's aggressive. That took his pal and raised his pal.
Of course, the footy continues to roll on. Starts tonight, Port Adelaide. A big Thursday night game, isn't it? Port v Collingwood.
Yeah, Port's last roll of the dice, or they already rolled their dice.
I think mathematically they've got dice to roll. Richmond take on Carlton tomorrow night. So, any chance?
I think we are. I think the Blues are a chance.
Certainties.
North Geelong, another big Hawthorn front. That's probably the pick of the games down there at Aurora. Their record down there, is it something like they've won 21 or 22 down there? It's for some ridiculous record.
They win they win a lot everywhere, though, don't they?
Generally speaking, they do.
Collingwood are playing tonight.
Yeah.
And they pretty good effort against Hawthorn last week.
Good
too.
effort.
Yeah,
Good game.
You know what I'm reminded of though? It's a hard game. And it's a brutal game. And to tell you what, nothing to me talked to the toughness of the game than in the dressing rooms after the game was Jack Crisp drinking a Big M. I think that's it's not even a regular size Big M. It's a mini Big M.
It's not even iced coffee, which is the man's drink. That's chocolate. What? I suppose he's lucky it's not strawberry.
Mate, Bucks is unhappy there because he was an egg-flavoured game and he wants
Egg
he
flip.
wants egg
Man,
flip.
the egg flip.
flip.
We're at the
What
egg
happened to
flip.
the egg flip?
It was too short for this world.
You know what happened to it? No one bought it. Just a theory.
Oh, well, we
Yeah,
loved it.
that doesn't help.
Now, the Tigers, they're having a great year, no doubt about it. And
Yeah, they are. They're
Hardwick's back. He was going to be sacked after round 4, wasn't
About
he?
6
He
weeks
was.
ago, he was
Yeah,
gone.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Anyway, he got asked about what he said at three-quarter time against GWS because they were down. They had a massive last quarter. This is what he had to say about what he had to say.
You gave him a bit of a spray at three-quarter time, Dimmer. Is that what happened? Were you really frustrated in that period?
Yeah, I don't have a spray. I just asked them to respond.
Just ask him to respond. Let's have a look. This is him asking how to respond. Just, please, guys, please. Just asking you kindly. Do better. Hurdy doesn't do that, does he?
No, he's more of a...
No, he's
This is stuff. Yeah.
he doesn't do anything anymore.
Job's out for the year, though.
He's gone for the year, which
that
is a shame.
explains how he's...
And that was
what he
sad. It was
like.
actually sad to see. And if I may say, you just hope that Jobe Watson at some stage finds a way to enjoy his footy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a great young fella and a great
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I do hope he finds some joy too. I've
Yeah.
got one theory as to how he could do it.
Yeah, man.
Leave.
They'll be back.
Essendon are in trouble because it's official. They've stopped listening to Hurdy's game plan, which is astonishing because he did write it a couple of weeks ago on the back of was a postcard from Paris. But he did write it, and you can see here. You got to go. You start at the Louvre, Husey, and you go straight up the Champs Elysees to the Arc de Triomphe, and that's the shortest way home. Everyone knows that.
Subject of Europe, who's in more trouble, Essendon or Greece? But I heard he's going to stay there for a long time. Don't know about that.
How do you know that?
Really? Well, there's evidence at three-quarter time last week. I mean, they're not going well, but the players need to respond. You need to respond because I'm here for 7 years. I've got an unlimited warranty, so you get used to me. Start listening again.
Boys, hey, it's been great having you. It's been
It's
great fun.
It's a lot of fun.
And we say goodbye this week on a continuing sad note. Of course, the passing of Phil Walsh was a terrible story. I think everybody in the AFL community can hold their heads high for the way they've responded. Our thoughts go out to the family and friends continually, to the Walsh family, of course. And the AFL this week have brought out a fantastic commemoration of his life in football, which I think is a magnificent thing. So it's a sad note to say goodbye this week. We'll be back the same time next week for the Friday Front Bar here at the All Nations Hotel, thanks to the Brewery Fresh Carlton.